Late entry. Happy birthday to Candice Pamga from Augustine and AJ. Maybe.
Beautiful, beautiful. Joy Sports Center is powered by the Joy Sports team. We'll be serving you goodness on the Olympics from the time it started, especially on digital. And also you can follow us at Joy Sports GH on Twitter, Joy Sports on Facebook, and also on my joyonline.com sports page, where you will see that our top story is that Ghanaian sprinter Joseph Paul Amwa, everybody calls him Joe Paul, is through to the semi-finals of the men's 200 meters. Yes, he is, after finishing third in his race with a time of 20.35 seconds. That was behind the USA's Noah Lyles and Sibosiso Machengwa of Eswatini, who finished first and second respectively. Now the semi-final starts at 11:50 a.m. this morning. So at 11:50 a.m., the heat one will be between or among all those who qualified with that time, and it also includes Nigeria's David Oduduru. Oduduru will also be in action. Nigeria's Oduduru will be in action that same set. So keep an eye on that, and we wish Joe Paul all the best. Elsewhere, Kenya's phenomenal run of success in the Olympic men's 3,000 meters steeplechase came to an end as Sofiane El Bakali won gold. The 25-year-old clocked 8 minutes, 8.90 seconds to beat Ethiopia's Lamecha Germa and Kenya's Benjamin Kigen, and that gave Morocco their first medal in Tokyo. The BBC's Ed Harry has more.
Long-time front-runner in this race was Lameka Germa of Ethiopia, but El Bakali timed his move to perfection. He passed him just as they entered the final 200 metres of the race, and the Moroccan hit the water jump in first place, and thereafter he pulled away. Morocco has never won the men's steeplechase before, and what about this? It was a bronze medal for Benjamin Kigen of Kenya. Kenya, apart from the games they boycotted in 1976 and 1980, had won 11 gold medals in a row in the Olympic men's steeplechase, 68 to 2016 inclusive. That run has been broken. A Moroccan has won, El Bakali, Soufiane El Bakali.
Beautiful. And Harry, with that updates there, also elsewhere, Sifan Hassan won the women's 5,000 meter gold to seal the first part of her attempt at an unprecedented Olympic treble. The Dutch woman is bidding for a historic 1,500, 5,000 and 10,000 meter sweep.
Sifan Hassan has got what at the moment looks to be a decisive advantage over Helen Obiri. Helen Obiri's arms are pumping. The world champion Obiri, the silver medalist from Rio 2016, will not catch Sifan Hassan. Hassan has got less than 50 to race. Obiri looked over his shoulder a moment ago, checking that silver was safe perhaps. It's a margin of victory of some 20 metres. Sifan Hassan has gold number one. It's a second successive Olympic silver in this event for Helen Obiri, the world champion.
At dawn this morning, many of us were up by 1:52 a.m. to watch the sprints where Joe Paul was in action, but also to watch the boxing, because at about the same time, it was time for Ghana's dream of winning the first gold medal to be seen, to be coming to fruition, or to be dashed. How did it end?
Who's going to be going for gold?
The winner on points by split decision.
勝者はスプリットディシジョンにより
In red.
It's Reagan.
And that was Reagan Duke from Cincinnati in the United States. He beats Ghanaian Samuel Techi, who had to settle for a bronze in the men's boxing featherweight division after he lost that semi-final fight. Now the 20-year-old, however, ended Ghana's 29-year wait for an Olympic medal, with the country's last coming at the Barcelona 1992 Games. Good luck to him, and he's got an amazing career hopefully ahead of him as well. Away from boxing, transgender athlete Laurel Hubbard made Olympic history but failed to record a successful lift in the women's plus 87 kg weightlifting. She became the first openly transgender athlete to compete at the Games in a different gender category to the one in which they were born. The BBC's Ade Adedeoyin has more.
She started at 120 kg, which is a weight she would have been expected to lift. She failed that. She then increased the weights to 125 kg and failed both attempts, and it means that she couldn't progress to the clean and jerk as she hadn't registered a lift. So it is a big surprise. And just to explain how the weightlifting works, the competition is divided into two parts, with each athlete performing in the two different type of lifts. The snatch is when the barbell is lifted above the head in one motion, and there's the clean and jerk, which is done in two motions. Each athlete gets 3 attempts at each lift. The weights of each athlete's best lift in both categories are then added together, and the one with the biggest total wins. But if you don't register a lift in the snatch, you can't progress to the clean and jerk. That's what happened to her. Big surprise. The world record holder Li Wenwen of China won the tournament with a new Olympic record.
At the of the BBC there. Here on the Joy Sports Centre, Gary Al Smith with the details to football. Canada secured a 1-0 victory over world champions, the United States, to set up a women's Olympic football finale against Sweden. Jessie Fleming scored Canada's winner from the penalty spot, and they will now face the opposition, who beat Australia 1-0 in Friday's final. Later today in men's football, Brazil lock horns with Mexico, and the host nation Japan welcomes Spain, all in the semi-finals. Away from Tokyo, but still in football, Harry Kane, a transfer target for Man City, did not return to the Spurs training ground as expected on Monday morning amid speculation over his future. Now, the striker was scheduled to have coronavirus testing on Monday before starting training Tuesday. However, the England captain was nowhere to be found. With details, here's the BBC Simon Stone.
Harry Kane made it clear before the European Championships that he felt there was a gentleman's agreement with the Tottenham chairman Daniel Levy that he could leave in the summer, and that hasn't gone away. Tottenham argue against that, and you could argue that Kane has taken a nuclear option by not turning up for this coronavirus testing, because until he is clear, then he can't return to training. Is he trying to push Levy into making a decision? Levy's well known as one of the toughest negotiators in the game, and the next few days really should be fascinating to see how this story develops.
Simon Stone of the BBC there. Let's do some local stuff, because Great Olympics head coach Anna Walker has described his side's 2020-21 football campaign as disappointing. The Wonder Club started the season on a brighter note and topped the league twice after beating the likes of Heart of Oak, Asante Kotoko and Wafa. However, a poor run of form in the second part of the season led to them finishing 6th. I know, it's not a happy man.
Seriously, you and I know it's been disappointing. I'm really disappointed because, like you said, in the first round, you saw what I was doing. I even went to the top of the table on 2 occasions. We came to the second round. I started good by beating Midiama here. Then all of a sudden, Legon Cities beat us. Seriously, to the end of the second round, I wasn't happy. Losing matches to lower teams. So honestly, it made me feel very, very bad.
Anna Walker speaking there. You can watch the full interview later on the Joy News channel. To the Division 1 League, and Bibiani Gold Stars head coach Kobina Emisar has revealed his strategy in promoting clubs to the top flight. Emisar is regarded as a promotion specialist. Why? Well, he's qualified 4 clubs to the Ghana Premier League on separate occasions. Previously, he's brought Sekondi Azakes, Brecum Chelsea and Elmina Sharks before doing it for this current club, that's Bibiani Gold Stars. He says less possession and more attacking has always been his secret.
Putting 3 or 4 or 5 passes together in some kind of pitches is difficult. So I adopted a strategy by myself that just players, let's cross the center before we do the possession. Because on our side, any player who tries to do possession, maybe you can fumble with the ball because the pitch is not all that good. So let's cross the center line and keep the possession over there. And then I give them the instruction, particular instruction, and my players listening to me.
You were using this strategy with all the 4 clubs that you qualified from there.
Exactly. And that is where most of the coaches in Manzo doesn't realize that.
That's your trick.
That's exactly my strategy.
All right, so Komnamis are speaking there to some women's football, and great news for Ghana women's football because Hazaka's ladies have reached the final of the CAF Women's Champions League qualifying tournament, and this after they beat Burkina Bay side, Union Sportive de Force 2-0. Veronica Apia broke the deadlock in the first half before Doris Buedua doubled the advantage 15 minutes into the second. Hazaka's ladies now face Rivers Angels in the final, and who beats the Ghanaian champions, you might recall, 3-0 at the start of the tournament. Yusuf Basigi is the coach of Hazaka's ladies, and he doesn't want to promise revenge yet.
It's too early to predict a win.
It's just a game of win.
Because, no, I would say that we are going to meet a team that we played in the first game. We need to plan. So if I sit here to say that we are going to win, I don't think that I may be right. I'm only saying that just to please everybody. But honestly, the Nigerians are also a very good side. So you need to sit down and plan. So your tactical ploy and your plan, that will work for you. So in fact, it's premature for me to sit here and say that we are going to win.
All right, so let's just wrap up with headlines from the Olympics. Castle Warholm's 2020 heroics have come to a head as he ran 400-meter hurdles in 45.94 seconds. That's a world record. And also in the basketball, Zoran Dragic scored 27 points, and Luka Doncic added 20 as Slovenia swept past Germany 94-70 into the men's basketball semi-finals. Also, still in the basketball, the USA have beaten Spain 95-81, and the USA remain on course to go for gold medal in the basketball event. So much for starting slowly. Simone Biles, she's still in the news. You know, she didn't partake in some of the things because she's looking after her mental well-being. Well, she's returned, and she said to bring a dramatic conclusion to the gymnastics at these Olympics as she bids to end on a golden high. So she'll be doing the beam, what they call the beam event. She'll be back to do that. Ostensibly, she sorted out some of her mental issues, so she will be
Or
back.
maybe even with mental issues, she's still the best in the world.
Oh, that definitely is not in doubt. It's not in doubt. And also some of the headlines. We are down to the final four in the men's football. Mexico versus Brazil, Japan versus Spain in the semi-finals. And in the athletics, if you want to know the wrap, there's a Ghanaian in the 200-meter semi-finals. He's one of 6 Africans, including a Nigerian. A Nigerian has also won their first medal. Her name is Ese Brume. She won bronze in the women's long jump. And Samuel Techi has gotten Ghana's first medal since 1992 after winning bronze in the boxing. So that's basically the top stories from the Olympics.
Oh, it's going well. It's going well.
I've not given you the medal table.
Oh.
It's still the Chinese who are top of the table.
Wow.
They have 65 medals in total. 30 gold, 19 silver, 16 bronze. The USA are second with 66 medals, but less gold. So they have 22 gold, 27 silver, and 17 bronze. The Japanese, the host nation, have 34 medals and 18 gold, 6 silver, and 10 bronze. Australia are fourth. The Great Britain are fifth. Russia Olympic Committee are sixth. Germany 7th. France 8th. Republic of Korea 9. And New Zealand 10. Ghana are, somewhere down there.
Yeah, well, but we're doing well. We're doing well. I'm proud of those who are competing. And we hope
of the African nations, that would be South Africa, who are leading the African pack. They have 3 medals in total, 1 gold and 2 silvers.
Okay. Yeah, Konkakakra.
Yep.
All right, Gary returns tomorrow with even more from the world of sport.
Thank you.
When are they going to turn Sukins eating into a sport?
Maybe we should do that.
Represent my nation. Gary, would you give 100 cedis of your salary every month towards the building of the cathedral?
The cathedral, unless I do a standing order. If
so
I don't
you
do a
would
standing order, I'll chop all the money.
Okay, but it's in principle you would be happy to do it.
I don't mind. You don't do much, so I just go do it. I heard your question. I was listening to you about whether there are 2 sides of the story, aren't there?
Yeah.
Those who say that I'm paying taxes because of these things,
right?
So it's like I'm paying double the tax. But for some, I just see that like my child.
Okay,
I'm paying school fees, but.
You also pay for other things.
Other things, yeah. So if it wouldn't, 100 cedis would do much to me. You understand? And to the extent that, and for those who follow me on social media, in principle, I'm not really for the cathedral. But again, in recent times, I've looked at, I like to travel.
Yeah.
And when I travel, the last time I traveled somewhere, I was so angry because there weren't places where I could go and look. You feel me?
Yeah.
When you come to Accra, what exactly are you come to look at in this place? No, tell me, I'm asking you.
In Accra.
Apart from the sea.
The mausoleum.
What?
The Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum.
Okay.
I think we are done.
Well, Accra Zoo.
Accra Zoo. I hear the lions are eating soaking. the sport that I want to, represent Ghana.
So you get my point.
Yeah.
So for touristic purposes, that is why I want the cathedral. But for those other, I don't agree with it. But I'm projecting 10, 20 years from now, and I think I'd like to take my child to the National Cathedral if it is what David Ajayi says it will be, and it's going to be there. We can show you this, that. I think it will be nice. But in principle, I don't really like that.
I have an interesting view on it. So I would love to have a cathedral like that in Accra. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
David Ajay is a genius.
Yep.
I want to have such a thing in Accra,
yeah.
but I don't know if we can afford it. Bearing in mind all the other priorities we have. So I'm thinking about it like I would make a decision for my family.
And I have said that many times on social media, but from a priority point of view, I think it's a needless waste of money.
So again,
but now that they have started, they might as well finish.
Well. Since they've raised down judges
houses
and all that.
Yeah.
Well. It's an interesting conversation. We're gonna talk about it more on the show today.
But what I can guarantee you is that in 20, 30, 40 years from now, people are gonna look back at that edifice and forget that we spent so and so, because it's going to be something that people are going to talk about.
Is it?
Well, I mean, go and ask those.
Is it?
I have a grandfather who was in Nkrumah's time, on my mother's side. And
yes.
He mentioned,
do we talk about the mausoleum? I remember when it was built. Do we talk about it?
Well,
do we talk about Kakum National Park as much as we should?
People thought all those things were a waste of money at the time. But there are the things that we now point to as our main go-to tourist, whatever it is.
But do we? That's the point I'm making. Well, have we maintained these things? Have we maximized the revenue we're supposed to make from
maintenance
them?
I'll tell you a brief story.
Yes.
Last year last year before the COVID thing happened, we did the Tour de Ghana, right?
Yes.
In the Ghana month, where we went around the country with the Joy FM team and invited listeners to join us and all that. When we got to Kintampo, the Kintampo thing had been refurbished, renovated, rejuvenated, whatever it is. Yeah. And I had never been there before the facelift, but it looked absolutely amazing. So yes, maintenance, but if we probably get a bit more serious about it, it can't guarantee us that revenue that we want. So I don't think that it is the question of whether we should build it, as much as when we build it, let's do it properly.
Well, I mean, the question of whether we should build it still stands.
Yes,
you and I may think we should build it, but there are others who don't think.
And they might have absolutely legitimate points.
Yes.
So in principle, I wasn't for the idea because I thought it was a colossal waste of money. But now that they've started, they might as well build it and do it properly so that we can get the money they say we will get out of it. And that's that for that.
That's Gary L. Smith. He returns tomorrow with more from the world of sports. Stay tuned for that. Right now, though, we want to hear from you. Would you give 100 Ghana cedis every month towards the building of the cathedral? We want to know. Tell us. If you would, tell us why. If you wouldn't, tell us why. On social media, using the hashtag JoySMS. If